Hi Virgo, welcome to your month ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal tarot reading with me, you can do so on the website address below. And Tribal Tuesdays enrollment is open. So if you want to be a part of that, if you are ready for that next stage or level of your life, join up. You can send your application on the link below. With that said, I would like to bless all of my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So let's have a look, see what the month ahead has in store for you. What are your actions and interactions with the world at large this month? You get the Seven of Cups, right? So you're trudging through the confusion this month, right? This is where you're getting clear on things. And actually, when I see this card, I always say to people, streamline what it is that you're working on. If you have too many plates spinning in the air, you're eventually going to drop and break something, right? And since this is your actions and interactions with the world at large, a lot of you are asking yourself the question, where do I go from here? Do I really want to commit to this? Do I really have the... do I really want to commit to what it is that I'm doing? You know, whatever that is, whether it's your job, whether it's your relationship, whether it's your work, whether it's your, you know, a personal business, it could be anything, right? But this month you're saying to yourself, do I really want this? And you're being selective about it. Now, the fact that you're trudging through the confusion, it really feels for me like you are going through the process of narrowing things down, right? The Virgo, predisposition is to go into everything in minute detail, whereas this month I kind of feel like you're stepping out of that and saying, you know what, I'm going to generalize a bit more so that I can get more of an understanding or a rough overview, because sometimes when you've got that general overview, it gives you a bit of an idea of what the tone is for you going forward. All right, your money and materials this month. You got the Nine of Wands, right? So you're being very selective about your finances, about what you spend money on this month. Interestingly enough, you've got the Seven of Cups right next to the Nine of Wands, which kind of suggests a couple of things to me. For some of you, this is about getting to the bottom of a certain health issue. This is about you looking at something that you're, you know, whether it's a physical ailment, whether it is a chronic ailment. This is you saying to yourself, you know what, I have tried everything. I need to get to the bottom or the root cause of it. Now, very often the root cause of any of these things is something that's going on internally. It could be in here, it could be in here, in our feelings, you know, sometimes it could be our thoughts. Now, I'm not a medical professional. I can't give you medical advice. What I can tell you is that this month you are going to get very proactive about looking after your personal health, really streamlining things and looking at your, you know, for some of you it could be looking at your diet, but for the most part, I feel like this is for a lot of you, you're saying to yourself, what environments do I feel good in and what environments do I not feel good in? I kind of feel like, and you know, because it could be environment related, but it could be something that you have in the home. You know, for some people they're allergic to pets, for some dogs, cats, you know, some people are allergic to certain flowers, or, you know, it kind of feels like it's an environmental thing. But this month you really are paying attention to your health, Virgo. You're really getting very proactive about discovering what this long-term issue is that you have. There's something going on with you physically, and you're saying to yourself this week, I'm getting to the bottom this month, I'm getting to the bottom of this no matter what it takes. And if I'm honest, because it is the Nine of Wands, some form of talking therapy could really accelerate this process for you. It could really assist you in that respect. So, you know, things like therapy, counselling, you know, what do they call, talking circles, all of that sort of stuff, excuse me. And then finally, in terms of your money and materials, this, again, it looks like you're being very selective with money this month. You're being quite cautious. You know, yeah, it does feel like you're being very cautious with the money this month. And there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's good to, you know, tie a string around the purse so that you don't spend unnecessarily or frivolously. You know, it's not always a bad thing. So the communications with the world at large, you've got the Knight of Swords. I mean, my dear Virgos, I am sorry to say, but it does look like a bit of an interesting or intense month for you. Knight of Swords is about communication, sometimes very fast and sometimes very aggressive communication. So it could be that this month, in relation to you cutting somebody off or saying, you know what, I'm no longer willing to finance this, I'm no longer willing to bail you out, it could be that you're having a clash of words with somebody because of that. It could be that you're calling somebody out for their behaviour when it comes to finances. But as it stands, the Knight of Swords basically says, don't be hasty in the things that you say. State your point and kind of leave it at that. And if somebody tries to draw you into an argument, somebody tries to override you or overstep you, find a way to say what you need to say calmly, because otherwise the content of what you're saying is going to be lost in translation. It's going to be an interesting and possibly quite intense month for you guys, but think of this month as the reset button, right? That's my best advice to you. Think of it as like there's a reset being pushed, and if anything, the only good thing about that is once the reset's been pushed, or once the closet's been cleared out, so to speak, you can move forward from there. And it's interesting, especially if you're a Virgo rising, to a lesser degree the sun and the moon, all of the cluster of planets, including the sun, are currently in your 12th house, right? So a lot of your past, all of the things that you keep hidden, the things that are under wraps, the things that you might not necessarily have looked at in a while, will probably this month start to surface, and they will need to be dealt with. Now, the fact that your Seven of Cups is in your actions and interactions, this is what I said, you're trudging through the confusion. But where most people shy away from this stuff, you're meeting it head on. So I commend you for that. You're finally a decent, well, I mean, they're all good cards because they all give you the information that you need. How you move forward with that information is obviously completely up to you, but you've got the Strength card in your personal relationship. So for those of you that are single, it could be that this is the saving grace of the month. I got to be honest with you though, it does look like somebody that's coming in, for those of you that are single, the person coming in, or somebody coming, you know, into your sphere of personal relationships could be somebody that really rubs you the wrong way. I mean, there could be a lot of breaking up to be making up, for sure, but it does look like this person really gets under your skin for some reason, and you are going to have to exercise that inner strength, inner restraint to say, you know what, why am I so deeply affected by this person? Methinks the lady doth protest too much, as they say in the Shakespeare. You know, which basically means sometimes when you kick off too much about a person, the chances are it's because you actually like them, and vice versa. So keep an eye on that, and you know, try to ask yourself, does this person just annoy the fuck out of me, or is it that actually, you know, I kind of loathe to admit it, but I fancy them, right? For those of you that are partnered, it will be your relationship where you seek solace. It will be your relationship where you find courage and strength, and where you feel that sense of renewed vigor for life. I kind of feel like everything else is going to be quite interesting and quite intense, whereas it will be your partnership. For those of you that are partnered, married, all the rest of it, that's where you find the saving grace. It's like, you know what? Everything else might be shite right now, but my other half and me, we're solid, we're good. And that's a really nice thing, because, you know, that's the sort of stuff that deepens a bond. It strengthens a relationship. So, you know, that's nice. But again, especially with the Knight of Swords, if you are feeling frazzled, try not to take it out on the partner, right? Because remember, that's where you need to be drawing your strength. That's where you need to be deepening your bond, because it will make you stronger in the long run. First week of August, you got the Star card, right? So as tough as things may well be, you could find that a group setting or situation may have your back. So talking therapies, all of that stuff, like I said before, could be very good for you this month, this first week of August. Could see you connecting with some people either over the airwaves, you know, over the internet and whatnot, or it could see you aligning with a group or somebody that really helps you think about what you're experiencing, you know. And in terms of trudging through the confusion, really utilizing the people that you know, especially groups, as a sounding board, going to be very important for you this month. Second week of August, you've got the Hierophant card underneath the Nine of Wands, right? So interestingly enough, for any of you, aside from what else I'm going to talk about, if any of you know anybody in the military, if you know anybody in the police force, or any of those kind of arenas in your life, reach out to them, because the chances are they may be struggling this month. You know, and it's funny, but just because of the combination of cards, I had to step out and say, right, this may be happening around you this month. And if you see somebody that is in any one of those fields, reach out to them, because the chances are they will really, really appreciate it. For you personally, the Hierophant card is about making things official and more established. The fact that it's underneath the Nine of Wands, this is where your traditional medicine comes in, right? So if you've tried everything else, if you've tried the herbal stuff, if you tried homeopathy and all of that sort of stuff, that's no longer going to help you. You need to seek out proper professional medical assistance when it comes to your health this month, right? And you know me, usually if it's the other way around, I will tell you that as well. But this month, I'm here to tell you, with this combination of cards, whatever you're experiencing physically in the way of ailments or chronic conditions, you need to speak to, you know, traditional medicine is going to be the way for it, or Western medicine, as some people call it. On a financial level, this really does suggest speaking to somebody in a position of authority. So go and speak to a bank manager, go and speak to a financial advisor. This month you're being urged to do things by the book, right? To do things the mundane way. You'll get more out of it. Then in your third week of the month, you have the Devil card. I mean, right, so this month, my advice to you is, don't let the small things become the big things. Don't let them become more than they actually are. And don't hold on to arguments. It's really, really important. If you have a blow up or a blowout with somebody, just let it go, right? Because if you hang on to it, it's just going to fester and it will become a lot worse than it actually is. The Devil card is basically saying, what are you attached to? What are you holding on to? And the fact that it falls underneath the Knight of Swords in your communications, if there is something that somebody says to you that really bothers you, that really annoys you or really hurts you, speak on it, but then say to yourself, this is where I leave it. Once I've got it out, I'm not going to unpack there and spend 3 weeks obsessing over this one thing that, you know, that I just can't seem to get over, or whatever. But yeah, this third week of the month, keep that in mind, especially because that's where we're about to come into your season, right? So keep that in mind. Fourth week of the month, you've got the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune is very active for the fourth week of August. There's something big happening here. Wheel of Fortune underneath the Strength card, which represents Leo. Very, very interesting. Very interesting indeed. So like I said, for those of you that are meeting somebody new, they could really, really rub you the wrong way, but it could make for a lot of passion and a lot of fun and a lot of desire. For those of you that are partnered, this is where you're going to see the turnaround. When you turn into your relationship, everything else will become easier. So remember, that's got to be your safe space. Your relationship needs to be you know, that place where nothing from the outside seeps in. So keep that in mind this month. And also, this is where you see the synchronicities, right? This could very, very well see an upswing. So I've got to be honest with you, the first 3 weeks of the month do look not very nice at all. However, that fourth week of the month, when we come into Virgo season, could very well see the turnaround. That could be where you see those moments and you're like, ah, okay, finally, things are a bit better. And then finally, your key to the month, overarching energy and theme, is the Queen of Pentacles, right? So this is a very Virgo ruled card. getting the most out of everything that you have, doing things the correct way, following the correct course of action. And that's not by anybody else's standards or even mine. Whatever you feel like is the correct course of action is the way that you need to go. The thing about the Queen of Pentacles is she knows how to get the most out of what she has, and she knows how to look after what she has. So when it comes to your relationship, really nurture and nourish that if you're in a relationship. When it comes to your money and especially your physical health, nurture and nourish that. Those are the things that you really want to pay attention to this month. As for all else, with a pinch of salt. I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up for you. Take care, and I'll see you soon.